All right. This little video, it's indexing is vital. Let's see. And it doesn't have any words. It just has a little music. But just kind of watch and see what you glean from this, okay? This is how important it is for our indexing journey. It's not very loud, but kind of cool how we're going to have a big hug of all these people that we're going to help with this vital work. Okay, we're going to, I want everybody to sign in to Family Search. And then we can go right to the thing so that we can go under indexing and then come down to, oh, I guess you gotta sign in first. Okay. All right. Okay, I wanted to show you at the very first of this page, when we get to your opening page, all these things that come up, temples, all this stuff, this is what we're creating as a result of our indexing effort. You will create a record for that person, hopefully. And maybe it'll be a green temple, maybe it'll be, mine are still kind of in work. I got German people. We're still waiting. We'll get those coming sometime. They're getting closer. So these are records that our efforts will help with. So we're going to do the drop down from indexing, going to our web indexing. So click on that. And then I just want to show you a few things as we go through this there's a whole bunch of different ways to get, see, web indexing is here also, and also it's under this drop down. But that's our choices. I want everybody to click on this little wheel thing. And then go to Edit Preferences. And this is going to show your levels. It's going to set a precedence for what's going to be brought up, what records will be brought up to you. So choose what level you want to begin. If you want to just do beginning, you can click beginning. You can put all three, obviously all levels. I've just stuck in the 2 because I've done it for a little bit longer. The languages, if you're proficient in a language, mark what language you're proficient in. All the regions, I pretty much just do all the regions because there's some things that you can, I mean, maybe if you don't speak Spanish, yes sir.
So can you just click just only the all regions button and that will all of them versus all the ones you click?
Well, this just clicks all. Or you can go in and put in individual stuff. So if you want all, yeah. This is for you. This edits it for your preferences, what you want. Okay. And then I just keep it at all the different periods. If you're looking for a certain period of time to do records, then do that. Also, allowing general indexing messages. On our thing up here, these are messages your stake, your temple and family history leaders can send messages through Family Search. And that's what this will enable when you click onto this bottom thing that says allow general indexing messages to come, allow messages specific to my indexing account. And the church sends stuff, if there's, I don't even know what they send, yes.
Isn't it also a place that, let's say that I am doing family history, that there's maybe an ordinance that is on hold by somebody and it hasn't been done, it's been maybe years, isn't that also a way for me to send a message to that person?
I think this is just, yeah, it could be, it's just an email thing, but I think
it's for the whole thing, not just indexing, it's for everything.
Well,
family history.
Thank you. I don't know, I thought it was just kind of for indexing. But, yeah, however you want, if you want to get messages, that's how you control it. Then save and exit all that. And then you can go in there and change things anytime you feel inclined. So don't be afraid of that, okay? This is where your messages, so it looks like some of mine got, oh, when did I save those? So I'm just going to show you this because I had 7 messages. After a week, your batches will expire. So I must have done these last week.
I just reserved some now, and it only took me 4 days.
Oh, okay, so maybe they shortened it. So, and these just barely went off an hour ago. So if I got, yeah, they might have, I don't know. So I'm just going to select all these, and I can go back in and choose some. So I can delete those messages because I'll go find them again. We're going to click on Find a Batch. Oh, I just wanted to kind of mention all this stuff down here too. Okay, so here's where we'll be finding the batch, obviously, and we'll go to that in just a second. Your progress, you can select certain, your current progress or what you've done in the past. It just shows your charts, your projects. And don't be afraid to click on stuff because you can't really hurt it. This will just keep track of your records that you're doing and your indexing and how you're progressing. This is our state group, our ward group, and this group down here is a share a batch indexing. There's a button on the, well, I'll show you where that is. You can share on Facebook or yeah, just any multimedia thing, and go to this. You can see how many they've done, and you share if you get stuck somewhere, or if you get stuck on a name or stuck on a batch. you can share it with these people, and they come back and give you feedback. And you can get your project and your batch completed as with their help. And you can help them, because they share too. So it's just another...
So how do you get that?
Yeah, because see, all the ones that we show here are just our ward and our state. It doesn't have that third one.
Do you have to subscribe to it?
No, it's just this find a group, and you can find other groups.
So you have to create a group.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of different societies that, and sometimes, I think Sister Gail Clayton, she hooked me up to that.
Something
I
from our
can,
state, you think?
no,
Just
this is
because-
all over the world. Anyway, I'll find out that thing, and we can get it passed to everybody, because it's kind of a cool thing. But you can do that with your stake people too. That you have your stake or your ward. You can share, find those groups, create a group with your people in your ward or in your stake area. And with all this new time we're going to have with Sunday. Exactly. This will be a time to create some groups. Okay, progress. Okay, so let's go to find the batch. So everybody click on find a batch. And then I just kind of want to go over this because I've been doing this for a little while, because I'm going to have both these boxes show up. If you've done over 1,000 index records, you have the opportunity to be a reviewer. And so that's why my review comes up. So you'll probably just have the index box on yours, most of you. Yeah. And that's great. Okay, so notice that this is a little bit darker and this one's not as dark. Why do you think that is?
The review is available on.
Okay, why?
99% done.
Okay, so look at this, and this will, kind of tell you that these are mostly checked out. So obviously there's not going to be any availability on those. So it just, they've kind of created these new views, I guess, to see. So this one has a lot, because both of them are available. 1%, 2%. So let's go down. And here's the other thing too. In your search button over here, you can put in quick batches. This quick batch, if you don't have a lot of time to be spending on a 10 record batch or a big list, and that's the thing. Tonight we're going to work on really simple stuff. In 2 weeks, we're having the second part of indexing with Pam. I'm so bad with names. Anyway, she will be here on Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock, I think on the 23rd, I believe. Yeah. Oh, no, that's Debbie's time. So she's the 16th. No?
And then next Tuesday is the 16th.
Yeah, then it's...
Thursday, the 18th.
Oh, she's just doing it at night. Oh, that's right. Karen. She works during the day. So she's just doing the one class on that 18th, yeah, at 7 o'clock. But she'll be doing the advanced part of this and kind of showing you how to do a little bit more difficult record. Because there are some that are a little crazy. But as soon as you kind of get the gist of it, they're not so crazy. All right, so this is we were working on these Michigan ones, and I don't know if everybody can put in, just write in here, quick batch Michigan. If the Michigan doesn't come up, let's see if it'll let us do this. Michigan, yeah. Because these draft records are pretty straightforward, and when you're working with youth or people that can't read the handwriting, these are mostly, they're written or typed, and so they'll be easier for them to do. So what you're going to do, type in your thing, or if you already found it in Mozilla, and then I just want to show you this little thing too. Batches to check out. You can click on this and notice usually we have at least 10. I already have 2 batches already reserved, so it's only going to give me what I have left. So I can check out 2, and I can click on indexing, and this will give me 2 batches that I have reserved. I can reserve. Okay? So if you want to try 2, quick batches only have 5 records in each of them. Usually you'd have 10 of these. So this will be a 5. And it used to just have 1. And I don't know when they changed that. They've been changing things all the time. So this when you catch on to this, it's pretty quick and easy. I can't stress enough to read these instructions that come up. This gives you key actions. Besides using your mouse, they suggest you use your tab and the enter and your arrows more than your mouse. So that's what this is talking about. So the tab keeps what you type and advances, because sometimes the mouse erases it or doesn't fill it in right, and we'll practice that as we go on. Okay, so we're going to pull up this record, and we're going to learn all of these little buttons, what they do, and why we have them. Okay, and everybody's going to have a different record, obviously, because I've got this map Paul Forest. Forest. And you're going to have probably a different alphabet. I don't know where you're at. But, okay, this is what we're going to do. Just follow me, because I think this will be the easiest way we can do it. All right. Okay. When you get these records pulled up, you need to come over to this next image, and you're going to look at this image and make sure you can read it, basically is what. And you can make it bigger with this plus sign over here.
Or with the touch screen.
Or with the touch screen, you can do all kinds of stuff. So you can make it big with your fingers or with the mouse. And then we're going to click on the next image because I want to see if that one's readable. And it looks like these are all forced. On mine, anyway. I'm forced in. So keep clicking because you're going to go through all 5 of your images, and then it will bring up the boxes that we want to fill in. Yes?
In essence, what we're doing first is we're actually looking at all the images to determine if you can read them or not. That's the first thing you're doing by clicking those next images.
Thank you. Yes, that is exactly right. And most of them were pretty readable. Okay, and hopefully yours were. Anybody got some crazy ones? Good? Good. All right. Okay, so let's click on batch up here and see the drop down. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. All right. So this is just going to show you about your batch, a quality check, which is another place you can go. There's all different places to find, because underneath here there's quality checks. There's all kinds of different things. So wherever you feel comfortable in clicking, this is where you will find. Okay, so about your batch, quick batch, you submit your batch, and it's going to have that at the very end when we do this thing too. It'll have your submit the batch down here. Okay. Return a batch. Okay, Janet was talking about when she found a batch that she doesn't want to do. Do not feel bad about sending it back, because someone else will be able to figure it out if you're unable to do that. Back to web indexing. It really is. So this is a back to web indexing, also this black arrow takes you back to the very first page, our very first page that has all of our, I'll show you, because then it's easier for me to go back. So if I go back, it takes me back to this page. Okay? Same with that other thing. Okay, and we are on this, and this is the other thing too. When you close out of your batch with your little arrow, you can come back, if you've only done 2 of the images, come back and click on your open the batch, and it should go right back to where you were working. Okay? Oh, it went to a different one, but that's okay. Okay, so, but mine, it's in there. The forests are in there, yeah.
The most important thing that you did is return the batch. What I mean by that is that the area where most people get most discouraged about doing the indexing is thinking that they have to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing is that do the ones that work for you. If they don't work, send them back, because I know with our ward, that was a huge thing, because most people were just struggling. They go, well, I would be 10 minutes on one record, and it was real discouraging versus being able to move forward with doing and be able to do it. So that's a very important thing to teach.
That's awesome. Thank you for bringing that up, because some of the batches that you'll click on and you're just trying to see what they are, you'll just go, what in the world is this? And I've never done this. And so you can send it back. See, World War, let's see if this is one of those. Yeah. See, this is a little bit different, but you'll be pulling, and this is what she's going to go over on the harder stuff. So these are a little bit more difficult. There's only two images. You got the first and the second page, and then you bring up all the stuff. But the thing is, if I can't figure this out with, here's our instructions, which this is what you have to read prior to even starting any of the stuff. The instructions go through all of what you need to do. And this little how-to will give you what needs to go in every little thing. And here's a picture. And they show you on the record what each line is being indexed. And you can copy and you can Control P this page, and it'll print, so you can have it right next to you. Because it's kind of hard to go back and forth with this. It's easier to kind of Control P it, and then you can have that paper right by you. Okay? All right, let's go back to our indexed. All right. Let's see if I can find my thing. I want you to be able to practice here. This is my first one. Nope, it's not. Okay. All right. Okay, so we've got the black. We'll return the web indexing, also in your batch. Return, it's all there too. Okay. This little airplane thing submits your batch. But if I click this and I haven't run my quality check to see, because on this batch, I'm going to get this. All of these places have to be filled in with something, and we're going to show you what that something is. Otherwise, it gives you this, and it says you can't move forward. Okay? So we will, so you can just, I just want you to feel comfortable clicking on stuff, because marking the field blank can be done with a control. Or you can, anyway, or you can mark it blank by doing this little box. Yeah.
So, and that will actually put blank into that box. What if the box doesn't have an asterisk by the actual, you know how on the surname it has an asterisk? So that is requiring that you would have to click that to put that into that box, correct?
If the record does not have Ernest Albert, which we'll be putting in as his given name, because I need to put both of his first and middle name in the given name, I would put blank, because it has an asterisk. If it doesn't have an asterisk, you If there's information there, you can put it in. It's not going to hurt anything. But if it doesn't have any information, you don't have to put a blank in there. Okay? Does that make sense? So if it has an asterisk, so the little, let's see if I can, okay, yeah. I was going to see if there's one. Okay, so see how,
Like the contact relationship is
okay.
not an asterisk.
yeah, there's not an asterisk on the contact relation. So here's our contact. This is Alma, whatever. Control B,
You can do this Control and B.
or you can do this
Or
little,
you can click that.
little box. That's what we're kind of practicing.
Yeah.
So that's what the asterisks are for on these records. So everything's pretty much needs to be put in except the contact relationship. And this, mine has a relationship right here, this wife. If your record doesn't have a wife or a mother or father, however they're related, sometimes they don't have that on there, just leave it. You don't have to put blank. You don't have to put blank because it doesn't have an asterisk. And if the recorder wants to put that in when they review it, the reviewer, then he can put it in. Because he gets to look at this. That's what's so neat about these records is, and how much quicker web indexing is, because we have the computer checks it when we do it, and then a reviewer does it. And that's quickly how fast it can turn over. Okay, so we're going to put the first name and, huh?
Ernest.
Oh, sorry. Ernest Albert. So you can put in your first stuff if you want to. Let's just go down this. Let's see what else is up there. And here's our mark blank. This marks mark the entry blank. What is this one? Oh, I don't know. Oh, this does all of it. Okay, so did you see that? That's not fun. So maybe don't ever play with that one unless the whole. Well, the thing is, if the record doesn't have information.
Well, if where it was blank, you've covered it all, and then you go in and fill in what needs to be filled in.
Exactly. So, yeah. But you can undo, with this, our little thing, we can do this with our delete thing. Oh, maybe we can't. It didn't do all of it. Okay.
Current entry.
Oh. All right. Current. Hey, you did learn something. I'm glad. Okay, so that will mark all the entries blank. Okay. All right. And this puts in unreadable. If you can't read the right thing, then put in unreadable. And this will put in all entries as unreadable. And then add an entry. That's an advanced thing, so you'll not use that on these records. The delete thing, I just did that, and we'll probably have to do it again. When you press create another entry, you're creating another record. So when you're doing draft records, don't ever do an entry. Create another entry. There are advanced, more intermediate records that need to use the create an entry. We're going to do next image. And the next image, see how it just takes me to my next thing down here? So if I hit my next, if I hit my, oh, that's on this. So if I hit next image, it'll advance to the next one. Okay? And then you can do this manually. You can go to your images this way too. Okay? All right. What else we got? Copy field. This is something a little bit more advanced. On the list, they have like, well, there's crew lists, there's all these different lists, and these kind of things, that's when you'll use this stuff. So the basic stuff, you don't need that, and you don't need that, and you don't need these black ones right here. This cool little thing has the handwriting stuff. So if you get stuck on something that's written that you can't read that cursive, here's some helps. Or you can do this next thing that shows, here's how to share. This is the share batch. I don't know who it shares it with. Okay. That's how to share it with someone else. That's the thing. I think you can share it with even the indexers downtown, but some of the indexing missionaries that are downstairs. So that just are downtown. The NYA little thing. This shows little international characters. So Swedish, you've seen the umlaut on an O. This, so you can type it in correctly. This gives you that, because you don't have it on your keypad. So if you need a Swedish umlaut, here's your umlaut. We have some neighbors that are the Osteds, and they are from Sweden, and so that's how he would spell his name. And some of these will have, some of your records might have that in their name. These are all in the United States, so you probably won't have that, but that's where that is, or Spanish names for the NYAs and stuff like that. Okay, and then this is the most important thing ever. Here's your project instructions. And then you notice that there's this little question mark by every single
On that tab.
So every single one of these has a field help to go along with what goes in that box. If you have any questions, then you can, yeah. So these are really important to read before you start your thing. If you've done it numerous times, it's not as important. But if you have a brain freeze like I do sometimes, it's nice to have those question marks there. And this goes through whether you're putting in periods, punctuations, Mr. and Mrs. Because down here, when you're looking at the person that that you'll always know your address, they've got Mrs. Alma Arlen St. Aubin, and that's his wife, but we're not going to put Mrs. in there. We're just going to put Alma Arlen. And sometimes they put Mrs. Ernest Albert. So it could be his mom, it could be his wife, but we don't assume. In this little thing, it says do not assume down here when you go down to it. Contact name, click on your, oh, it already got that. Do not assume that this is the surname. Maybe that's a relation. Do not assume a relationship from other information on the document. So this kind of will direct you as to what you're supposed to stick in there, okay? All right, I got 5 more minutes. I'm going to go, I've got through all this. Let's finish filling in this stuff on our deal. And then we can play with the rest of them. And if you have questions, we can come around and help you. And this is where you can do your tab. Instead of using your dill, you can do your tab all the way down, okay?
Use your pinky.
Yeah.
Use your left-hand pinky on the tab. It helps you still type and still be able to have something. So is there a reason why you're not putting a period there, Sister Eula?
There is. Why?
No, I'm asking.
Well, I'm going to look at this.
Document.
I know, but I'm going to look at my little field help. It says, in web indexing, you can include a punctuation when typing the name, place. However, including punctuation is not required.
So you can.
When you click on that, that will tell you yes or no. Yes, I can if I want to,
But why?
but it tells me it's my choice. But usually, you get used to not putting anything in there. Okay? The resident, town, sometimes this is all crunched in here. So this is the 401 Sturgeon Road, that's the address. And sometimes they have it, this one's a pretty good one because they've got it under, you know, each of the, or over each of the areas. So I've got Midland is my town, Midland is my county, and I've got Mitch as my state. Now, if it says Mitch, you know it's Michigan because we're doing Michigan up here. We can see Michigan. We're doing the Michigan. And there's how you spell it. You can spell it out if you like, or you can leave it like M-I-C-H and not put the, I don't think we put the, let's see what they say on this one, if the punctuation is necessary.
Or are you supposed to spell it out?
If the state was misspelled, spell it correctly. If the abbreviated and you, if it was abbreviated and you can determine what the abbreviation stands for, then complete it. Put it in. Oops. So important to click on the purple little question marks because that is going to give us the direction we need, and it's not like it's way far away. And those change periodically, so that's okay. That's why there's been some major updates, and they change things, and that's okay. So, whoops. It's all right. Okay, so then we're going to find birth town is number 5 area. Place of birth would be my town and my state. So get that all in. Again. And the other thing too, as you get going on these records, some of these will have drop downs that will have already what you put in. You can just click on that, especially on the other. And on the birthdays, you can click on this little arrow on the side over here, and it brings a drop down so you don't have to type. Because we're only going to put in 3 letters of what the birthday is, the birthday month. And you're not going to put zeros in, so just put 3, or if you have 2 numbers. How are we doing? Everybody good? Okay, so see how this we already had my St. Aubin, or I guess that's what his name is. It's already in here, so I can click on that or I can continue typing. But that's what's kind of nice. Things that they've added to kind of make this a little bit more easy to expedite. And then on our contact, what do we see different on here? It doesn't have an asterisk. We can see don't assume the relationship just because it says Mrs. Albert, Ernest Albert. So it says if the relationship is not recorded or was written in the variation, put unknown. Oh, press the tab, you can just skip the field. So wife, mother, father, sometimes they have son in there. So there's all those different things. And sometimes that box, number 8, is not even there. They just have, some of the records just have this whole box is without this part. Just make sure you click on your question mark.
When that drop down comes down to the various, like hair or whatever, you have to use the mouse, or is there any other way you can use that?
Yeah, you probably...
Do the question mark?
No, to use the mouse on the...
Because you can start typing it and it'll come up, and then so you have to go back to your mouse if you want to click it on there.
The thing is, the mouse sometimes erases it. If you played with the mouse, do the tab. You can do your tab and it just goes to the next thing. Actually, you have to select and then do the tab. Because you have to, like if you've got, okay, so we do white.
Start typing in like white.
No, you just do the,
Just
you
start
just do
typing it.
W,
Okay.
and it will give you the first one.
Yeah, because it
Okay,
just,
so you have to get that, not with the tab, you have to do.
but it's already highlighted in the blue, so I can hit tab if that white is my, oh, it didn't put it in.
I think you do have.
You have to do enter instead of the tab. That was the change.
Okay. Yeah, that is true.
Type W.
I just go that way. See, and that I just grabbed it with this. I can grab, I'm just doing it with my mouse. So I can go down, he's not Negro obviously, but the white, you can select it. See, that's the thing. You're going to have to enter if you do the selection. Yeah. Okay. So that's something that they have changed. And when they've got half, like, see, I've got 511 and a half. Sorry that he's going to be shorted, but I am only going to put 511, and I don't put any, whatever those things are, quotations and feet and inch still.
The question mark tells you that you don't put the hat in. You click on that.
Yeah. Because the height, it just says, and don't, and give him, 512. He's not, he won't be sad, I promise. So there's your sample, and that we have to take out quite a bit when we're reviewing. So that just helps us. So, okay. And everybody got the address, your employer? You're not really putting an address, you're just putting, see how mine has WPA project? I can put those but I'm not putting any of my punctuations in there. And it probably says it's all, and I can put it, that's the thing. Let's see if it says, yeah, student. And then if it has junior or Mr., you're not going to put any of that kind of stuff. So you can include punctuation when typing names and places. However, including punctuation is not required. So however you have learned, whatever you, that's the thing. The old brown tree method was do not put any punctuation in it. And so we never did. So that's kind of how our mindset is set. This gives you leeway that you can put the punctuation in, and it's not going to be wrong. And the reviewer will just do it how he wants to do it anyway. Okay. So you got all that other stuff. What records are you on? Are you flying through this? I'm just going to let you go play. Okay. And if you've got questions, we can come around and help. And then did you find where the registration date? And usually they're mostly the same for all of them. Okay. Oh, I was going to show you these other buttons too. I forgot. All right. One thing I was going to show you before you end up doing it, and then we have to fix it. It's okay if you do it, but sometimes if you make a mistake, it's good to learn from our mistakes. So if by chance you hit this create entry number 2, what it's going to do, and I want you to watch right here, entry 1 of 1. All these records should all say 1 of 1. When I hit create entry 2, it changes it to 2 of 2. And there will be records that we need to have multiple records, okay? Not in the draft record area. So what I have to do to get rid of this, instead of going to my 1 of 1, see I've got 1 of 2, so I need to go to my number 2, I need to go up to my little garbage can guy, and I need to erase what this current entry number 2. And I delete that, and it goes back to 1 of 1, and then it brings back my information I had already entered, and you're good to go. Down here, I would select my next image, and it takes me to my next image of my 5. And then I can start again. Okay. Really quickly, these that go big, you can do big or little. These things right here, this flips the record. If the record's kind of crazy, and yeah, obviously it's not crazy, but some of them are flipped, you can't read them very well, so that flips them, this little. And then you've also got the image adjustment. So this can brighten the image or make it a little bit darker so you can read. Some of them might be a little lighter. The contrast might be a little bit different. So when you make this, you change that, you have to apply to make it stick. So always remember to put the apply on so that you can keep that contrast that you just created. This last box shows a reference image. So when I click this, it's going to show you an image in some other batch, which you can make it bigger, whatever. But you can see it's kind of the same writing. If you're struggling with how it's written, how letters are done, this kind of shows a good example of what is written over there. So it just kind of gives you another reference to kind of look at how he's written. And you can compare that, okay? And then you can just click out of that. So that's that little box at the very bottom of this thing, okay? All right. Okay, we got 5 minutes, and you've got 5 records. So we good?
Go ahead. So here it says context human name. It's Mrs. Albert R. Power.
Okay. Okay, so click on your question mark, and it's going to tell you that we don't put in
Right.
the house.
It doesn't say you don't put a Mrs., but you put an Albert R. as a first and middle name, and then Bauer.
Yeah, because it doesn't have a reference to whether it's a mother or a wife. It doesn't have that. So I would just put in
Well, there's Albert R.
Catherine. Oh, on my Catherine. Sorry, I'm like, ah.
So that's the person, but then the same person's name again
That's
as
probably
Mrs.
why.
It's his
But
wife.
that's the thing. They're going to have access to the record, and they'll see Mrs. when they pull up. When they get the record for their use, they'll see the record. And just to not have to mess with all the other stuff,
So I just put Albert R.
I
Power.
would just put that one. And then you're going to put blank, or you can just, maybe you could fill in the relationship, this contact relationship, just put blank, because we didn't have that. And that will have that. Okay? All right. I do have a couple little handouts. I don't know if these will help you along the way.
Like, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah. Just do WD,
Then I
fill
don't
up,
have a-
and then put
It
in,
doesn't have a,
and just put blank in that relationship. And the reviewer can decide whether or not that's kosher or not.
So what happened? You messed it up. It used to be just.
And this is just
and then you have to do
a
it.
sword, I don't know if it will help you or not.
I changed that. That's what I wanted to do. And all the others you can have it.
This first one is from the FH guide, so you can access that there. This second one, it has the keyboard shortcut and a bunch of other doodads that you can keep out. And hopefully, that's the thing. The reference, you can reference the guide. It's awesome. Well, I got that little. I just wanted to change that.
I know you can.
Did you know how to change the color?
Oh, you really?
Oh, we never found that, did we? Here, I'm gonna check. I know, they changed everything around. I thought it was under accounts.
Mine pulls up green. Is that funny? Mine's green. Green.
See, it used to be underneath this stuff. It used to be in this stuff. That's why maybe they only have one kind.
Mine's green.
It's because you're a genius.
Settings. There it is. Okay, so go to batch and settings. You can choose whichever flavor you want. And then you can make it lighter or darker, so you can see through it. And what was the other? I think you can do it wider. Or, no, maybe not. On the old one, we could do it wider. Then you have to apply. So you have to apply whatever color you're doing. Okay? Did everybody see that? When you need a ruler, because on lists you will use a ruler definitely, just to keep yourself. These draft records are pretty good.
You can say simple.
They're pretty. No, they're good. They're good records. They're way good to read. They're good to teach youth. These are great ones.
And adults.
And adults. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna turn us off. I think we're good. Any other questions that you are coming across? It's good just to have some time to practice. And okay, we've got a lot to do in the next few days.